STARBORN. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. In fact, if you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is An Uphill Battle. And that is because you could be sort of gritting your teeth and deciding to just dig in and do whatever you can against hostile forces simply to stay on schedule or to reach some sort of goal right now. And you could be somewhat grimly determined, as if you did have to fight an uphill battle, and you might have to right now, because there are two very good reasons why you can be facing a lot of challenges. And that is because, first of all, there are 5 planets in a grand cross among the fixed signs, and fixed signs don't budge, so there's plenty of people with their own opinions that are not willing to compromise in any way. And that is because the Sun today is in Leo and Mercury is there as well. And the Sun rules Leo, so it's very strong there. But both of those planets are being harshly opposed by Mars, which is in the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius is the ruler of the future. And so there can be some people who could be quite aggressive or even feeling hateful and very determined, and their actions could be based on war or hate or greed or jealousy or envy, and they want to get their way no matter what, and they'll use any tool at their disposal to do that. So Mars can be a very dangerous planet, and it's opposing that Sun and Mercury in Leo. But there's more than that going on, because these 3 planets, 2 in Leo and 1 in Aquarius, are being harshly squared by planets in the financial signs. Jupiter in Scorpio, which is direct, is squaring them, and Uranus in Taurus, which is also direct, is squaring them. And so this can be a time when you may feel somewhat threatened in one way or another, and certainly your financial future could be a little threatened, and not by yourself, but perhaps by conditions around you or by things that are beyond your control that can seem sort of forceful and antagonistic right now. And then the second reason why you could be fighting an uphill battle is because there are 5 retrograde planets. When planets are retrograde, they're going backward in their orbit, and particularly with half of all the planets in the heavens going backward right now, it simply is an indication that even before you can go forward and start anything, you're going to have to go back and finish up something that you'd always been intending to do, but you never quite got around to. You'll have to do that. Or you will have to complete some course of action, or maybe just tie up some loose ends, or just clear the decks and get ready to either fight an uphill battle or simply start something new. So there's a little bit of homework that you've got to do first before you can go forward. And that can be frustrating you as well, because Mars is in Aquarius is retrograde, so are Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, so is Neptune in Pisces, and also Mercury in Leo is retrograde. So those are the 5 retrograde planets. And so that simply means that this can be a time when you can almost feel that it's just about impossible to make any headway right now. However, there are some good aspects that we can look at as well. And simply when we look a little closer at the position of other planets, we can see that there are some good things that you can count on for backup right now. And that is because today there is still a grand trine in the practical, hardworking, realistic Earth signs. And that simply means that the ties that bind are going to hold fast. And that is because Uranus in Taurus is trining Venus in Virgo, and together those planets are still trining Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. Capricorn rules time, and it rules things that take a long time. And for that very reason, the strong grand trine in the Earth signs simply means that proven results can speak for themselves right now. So if you have a lot of experience, or you can show a good track record right now for your past achievements, or you have been involved in a relationship or in an endeavor where there's been a lot of stability, then that is something that represents the ties that bind, and that is why they will hold. So, you know, there could have been things that you've done in the past, or perhaps that you're still doing, that are very commendable and are highly respected and have produced some pretty good results. And those are the things that you can count on, as well as connections to powerful people that you have made over time. Another good reason for you to be optimistic about the future, despite setbacks, is that there are finally more planets in the fire signs, and fire signs like action. And that is because today, as I said, the sun is in Leo, which it rules, and it is accompanied by Mercury in Leo, which rules communication and news. And that Mercury is retrograde, but both of them are trining the moon in Aries today. And Aries rules new starts. And that is why you can be very optimistic about maybe starting something new despite an uphill battle or any kind of obstacles. The planets in Leo and in Aries also trine the sign of Sagittarius, so they're backing up that sign even though there aren't any planets in it, and that can be very harmonious. And so all I'm saying is that this is a time, even if you are involved in some sort of uphill battle, when you can be excited perhaps about children, or about sports, or the entertainment industry, or love affairs, or simply having a lot of summer fun. After all, this is a good time to go on vacation. Or you may be just excited about starting something new that involves a project or a goal of yours, and you are ready to face the challenges that it represents and yet still be very excited about it. So it's rather nice that there's more strength in the fire signs. And the water signs are strong too, because Jupiter in Scorpio is trining Neptune in Pisces. So there are a lot of positive things happening that are in your favor. But you are also going to have to contemplate stiff resistance from people who can be very stubborn and refuse to compromise right now. And somehow you've got to figure out a way to sort of get around it. Because the bottom line is that there are always challenges in life. They happen in everyone's life. And they happen pretty consistently to all of us. But since Leo rules courage, perhaps this is a time when you're just going to have to boost your courage a little bit and, you know, get brave and decide to go forward anyway. And also you may want to renew your dedication or your will to win right now, and not to win against anybody, not to win in a fight right now, but simply to win in making progress toward your goals or your dreams or your travels, or doing something for a loved one, because that can really make a lot of difference in your life, and that is how you can be successful. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, if you're fighting an uphill battle, which I think you are in one area, at least you're not doing it in as many areas as you had before, because there aren't as many challenges facing you. And that's because the moon is in your sign. It's being beautifully trined by the sun and Mercury in Leo, and that simply means that you've got a lot of backup right now, and there's a lot of light shining on you, Aries. And so you could be contemplating travel or starting something new. And I think you could get some good news about that, since Mercury is in Leo, also trining your sun. You could get some good delayed news about something you'd been wanting to do. However, remember I said things could represent an uphill battle right now because we could all be facing challenges. Your challenge is one that's not going to go away, so you got to sort of make your plans and adjust for the challenges as well. And it's because Saturn and Pluto are in Capricorn, and they are squaring your sun sign where you have the moon. So the moon rules our emotions, and you can sort of get a little stirred up at having to follow somebody else's strict regimen or their policies or their rules, and that you could feel that, oh, you shouldn't have to do that right now. Well, you can always start something new, Aries, because you got that backup from the planets in Leo. But you also are going to have to learn to live with challenges because they are a part of everyone's life. It's just that this is a better time for you now to sort of wrap something up or finish things or sort of really get on a sort of a forward track right now so that you can start something new, because there's going to be an eclipse in Leo next week, a solar eclipse, and those always denote new beginnings, and that will be trining your sun. So if you could sort of adjust to the challenges right now, you would be just fine and well prepared to go forward soon. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a good news, bad news type of time for you because yours is a fixed sign, and there are 5 planets in the fixed signs in a harsh grand cross. And so if you were expecting to get your way on something, Taurus, I would say you are facing an uphill battle. You will run into people who have their own opinion and they can be refusing to compromise with you. Okay, so that can be a little bit tough and really challenging right now, but that generally doesn't stop somebody who is a strong earth sign, and particularly your sign, which is a fixed sign. So right now, you could be facing aggression from somebody who has a different idea about their future than you have, so they're not sort of willing to go along with you. And that's because Mars in Aquarius is squaring Uranus in your sign, which is also an indication of danger. So you have to be very careful not to be around things that are moving too fast at you, because they may not be accidental. They could be deliberate, and that's why you need to be careful. And then Jupiter in Scorpio is opposing your sun sign, which means you could be looking at higher costs. And that is why you could be fighting an uphill battle, because rich or poor, if costs go up, we've got to pay them. And so that could be threatening to you as well. And then the Sun and Mercury in Leo are also squaring your Sun, which means that the interests of children or lovers or the entertainment world or the cost of sports tickets or a vacation can be pretty high right now. But remember, okay, so that's the bad news. Just remember there is a strong grand trine in the earth signs, and that means that the ties that bind hold because they represent proven results. So if you have a good track record at work, or you have a good long-term plan that you have been somewhat devoted to, that could be reaching a milestone, and that could be very favorable. So stick to the ties that bind. Stick to a steady relationship in work or in your personal life, because that's the one that's really going to pay off in the end. So I wish you the best of luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, you don't have too many threatening things happening right now, because there's only 2 planets that are challenging your sun sign, and they are not the ones in the fixed signs. In fact, Mars in Aquarius, which is a fixed sign, is actually trining your sun sign. And that means if someone else is going to be making aggressive demands, or they can be jealous or hateful or greedy right now, their actions, which are not aspected to succeed right now, they're going to meet too much stiff resistance. But simply the fact that they are showing what they're made of could do you a lot of good, Gemini. And that's because people might see the dark side of others right now, and that could just make you look a lot better. And so this is a time when I think that you can go forward right now and perhaps capitalize on someone else's mistakes or poor judgment. The challenging uphill battle for you could involve your health or an accounting matter, because Venus in Virgo is squaring your sun sign. And so you're going to have to be a little bit more careful in those areas. Excuse me. And then Neptune in Pisces is squaring your sun sign, which means there's a lot of people that aren't telling the truth, and you may not know who to believe. So those 2 things can be challenging you, and that can represent an uphill battle. But actually, I think you're going to be able to capitalize from somebody else's mistake. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when it's going to be easier for you too. And the reason why is that yours is a cardinal sign. And all during the spring, there were a lot of planets in cardinal signs that were in harsh aspect to each other, but there are not so many anymore. And that means your life can quiet down a little bit. Today, the moon in Aries is squaring your sun sign, though, and you have to pay attention to that because the moon is your ruler. And so there can be a family or a home or a real estate matter that involves somebody else wanting to make a new start despite any obstacles they're facing, and they may decide to go ahead and do that. And that could sort of throw you off a little bit. And then you do still have to contend with the fact that Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are opposing your sun sign, which means that people in large corporations or government agencies can be undergoing changes in management or policies or shrinking budgets, and that may have an effect on you. On the other hand, even if they're making a lot of demands, I think that you should listen to them and maybe follow through anyway, because your sign is being beautifully trined by Jupiter in Scorpio and by Neptune in Pisces. There is strength in the water signs. And so since the Sun and Mercury are in Leo right ahead of your sun sign, you could be facing something new and you could be sort of excited about it. It might involve travel or something new that involves a plan or a hope or a goal of yours that could get off the ground pretty easily. It's just that we all have to go back because of those 5 retrograde planets and finish something up or tie up loose ends. But since we all have to do that, we're all in the same boat. And that won't prevent you from going forward, Cancer, because you can just up your courage and your will to win and go forward anyway. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, the Sun is in your sign right now, and even though yours is a fixed sign and is facing stiff resistance from 5 planets in fixed signs, still the Sun is the ruler of Leo. It's very strong, and even though it is being opposed along with Mercury by Mars in Aquarius, squared by Jupiter in Scorpio, and by Uranus in Taurus, I would say, Leo, that you've got some support now because the Moon in Aries is trining your Sun. And that means that if you have any idea about making some new beginning, you should follow through on it, Leo, as long as it isn't costing too much money. And the reason why is that the planets in the fixed financial signs are harshly aspecting your sun sign. So there can still be some worry about what's going on with the money or the financial future of yourself or a loved one. But at the same time, even though you can be facing an uphill battle because so many other people have their own ideas and they're not willing to compromise, I would say that that should not dampen your enthusiasm or optimism for starting something new. It's just you've got to be able to afford it. So you might have to cut your plans a little bit to fit your budget. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time then that you can certainly profit from doing things that make you happy, and that's because Venus is still in your sign. And it is the ties that bind that are going to hold fast right now, and that is because Uranus in Taurus is trining that Venus in your sign, and so are Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. And so, Virgo, you can be looking at the possibility of a promotion because these ties that bind right now are based on proven facts and proven results. It could be about a job performance of yours. It could be about the experience that you have obtained over time by doing something that involves stability, working with others, producing something pretty good that other people like. And that is why these ties that bind can be representing even rewards that you have earned over time. And although there are 5 retrograde planets right now, they won't all stay retrograde. And as more and more go direct, you should be able to see the benefits of the good things that you have produced over time, because other people will appreciate them too. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when I think you have to be a little bit careful. And it isn't actually, you don't have to be careful about forceful people knocking heads, because I don't think you're going to be that affected by these people that are represented by planets in fixed signs. But today, Mars in Aquarius is trining your Sun. And so people who are very forceful and dynamic and can even be greedy or hateful are not really after you, Libra, which is good. You can avoid that. But you do have the problem of the fact that the Moon in Aries is opposing your Sun sign. And that simply means that somebody else can be wanting to make a new start right now, and they can be very enthusiastic about it. It could be a child, a loved one. It could involve sports or the entertainment field, or simply somebody wants to go on vacation. And there may be, their plans are perhaps not jibing with yours or not fitting in with yours too well at the moment. So that could bother you. Or a home, real estate, or family matter could bother you a little bit because somebody else could be a little bit willful right now. And then Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are squaring your sun, which means that the ties that bind can involve people that are very adamant about doing things their way. And it's based on proven results for their efforts or their experience or the stability of something. And those ties that bind are going to hold. And so you have to sort of deal within that framework, Libra. But don't worry, this is a time when there are not as many planets in cardinal signs as there were this spring. And so your life should quiet down a little bit, which would be great. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when you have to be very, very careful. And I mean careful with the money because there isn't going to be enough of it. And that is because prices could be too high, so something could become unaffordable. Or it could be that there are other things going on in your life that can be very challenging. And I do think you're going to be fighting an uphill battle right now. It could be about money. Someone else could be a little bit greedy. That could bother you. And the reason why is that Mars in Aquarius, and Mars is your own ruler, is squaring your sun sign where you have Jupiter. So if you'd been counting on a lot of money coming in, I would say that you will be not able to count on that right now because somebody else has got their eyes on it instead. And Mercury and the Sun in Leo are squaring your Sun, which means the spotlight is on somebody else and they don't want to relinquish it and give you credit for something, so they're not going to do that. And then Uranus in Taurus is opposing your Sun sign, and that means the value of your investments could fluctuate, and that could cramp your style or your budget as well. So this is a time, even though Neptune is trining your Sun sign, that you have to be very, very careful because that Neptune is retrograde, and that simply means if you've been involved in a cover-up or a conspiracy, you will have to pay dearly for that because it won't turn out well when the truth is exposed. So it sort of depends on where you are in your life right now, and you could be facing an uphill battle. But that is why your sign does rule patience, and I just think you're going to have to use a lot more patience right now and understand that it's not possible for you to get your way at the moment. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time when I think you're really going to be looking forward to something, and it can be something new because the moon in Aries is trining your sun, and so are the sun and Mercury in Leo. So even though there are 5 retrograde planets, which means you too have to go back and finish something up, or you have to qualify for something, or you have to get something in order so that you can present your ideas or your materials to other people who also can be very excited about a new beginning right now. So I think you're going to be involved in that possibly as early as the middle of August, after the Leo solar eclipse occurs on August 11th, which trines your sun. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when I think that you are going to be able to anticipate some sort of uphill battle, but maybe it won't be a big one because there aren't as many planets in cardinal signs. But since the moon in Aries is squaring your sign, it could involve a relative, a family member, or it could involve a home or real estate matter, and it could involve some sort of change or even the possibility of a move that could prove to be rather challenging to you. And so what I think is happening right now with the strength that is in the earth signs, Capricorn, is that you can draw on past experience or proven results in your work experience or in your in the things that you do at home or with your community, which is good. But at the same time, it can be taking more and more of your energy to just do the same things. And so you'd better consider changing your health habits a little bit in order to boost your energy a little bit, or else try to diminish some of your goals so that they can fit into your life a little bit better. So slow down if you can. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time when I don't think you're going to get what you want. And for instance, if you want more money, well, other people want that too, Aquarius, so they could sort of have their hands in it, on it, or they could be a little ahead of you in line, and they could be able to grab a little bit more than you can right now. And that is because Mars in your sign is being heavily opposed by the Sun and Mercury in Leo, squared by Jupiter in Scorpio, a financial sign, and also squared by Uranus in Taurus, the other financial sign. So the best news is that costs could be higher right now. Okay, so you have to fit them into your budget or trim your budget a little bit. Well, possibly you could do that. But I think if you're making any kind of demands for more money, you won't get it. And the reason why is that other people have got the same idea, and so you will meet very stiff resistance. And the problem is that Mars is the only planet in an air sign. There aren't any other planets in air signs, so you're on your own. And I don't think that with 5 retrograde planets, including Mars in your sign, that there is enough strength for you to get what you want. But you could still be optimistic about other things that you can afford. So try to pare your expectations down to just what your budget can afford, and that might work. All right, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when you really have to be honest with yourself. And the reason why is, the good news is that Jupiter in Scorpio is still trining your sun. It will continue to do that until November. So there can be additional money coming in, or an extension of credit, or even an income tax refund coming up. That would be great for you, Pisces. But actually, Venus in Virgo is opposing Neptune in your own sign. And Virgo rules facts and details and accounting and analysis and problem solving and health. And it can be that this is a better time for you to be very honest with yourself about whatever health habits you have that can be detrimental to your health. And because this is a good time to fix those or do something about them. And it can be that you have been kidding yourself. Neptune is a planet that can help people kid themselves about things. And you could be kidding yourself about a health habit that is actually not doing you any good at all. And other people could be starting to notice that. And that is why you should end it while you can. So honesty is the best policy, and I hope you face it. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see our show, read our blog, and hear our podcast on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.